Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. We are coming to you live, and I am so excited to be here yet another Monday. We are hardcore already into 2021. Can you believe it? We're in the second week of February, which seems bananas unreal, but I am happy that you have made it to this day to see this video. And so we are going to get this party started. I am super excited as usual because every time I get to spend the time with you, my world is a better place. With that, I want to introduce you or welcome you to MinkLife Motivation Live. My name is Monica Henderson, and I am going to be your pilot on this flight today, where we are going to dive into what we usually dive into, which is personal, business, branding, and network development. And we do that and we come together every single week on Monday to help you get motivated, stay inspired, keep networking, and gain knowledge so that you can live a life that is designed by you, for you, healthier, wealthier, and more fulfilled. Each week, we have awesome guests and awesome topics. And this particular week on MinkLife Motivation Live, we will be discussing sales through excellent customer service. Now, to help me with these topics, let's get motivated with our co-host. We have Andrea Gewirtz. She is the Wellness Thrive Strategy at WellBeing and Worth. She is the MinkLife Motivation Master Trainer and the Dean of MinkLife University. Thank you, my dear. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Happy Monday.
Looking fabulous. And our other co-host, who's joining me to have open up this topic. She is the owner and photographer of Headshots by Peggy. She's a blogger, a dynamic speaker at the Next Global Virtual Conference, and my co-host today, Peggy Warny. Woo!
Hey everyone!
Welcome. Today's a special
day. So excited to be here.
We get to spend another day together, and we're loving on you as we celebrate your born day. One more year around the
year around the sun.
Yeah.
One more trip around the sun. Yep.
So as we kind of dive into our topics of the day, which is the customer service, I was wondering, why is excellent customer service essential to generating sales? Ladies, did you want to help me answer that question?
Who should go first?
Rock, paper, scissors. No?
We both had scissors.
All right.
I'll go first because I'm about to make a post about just that. And I say the greatest form of flattery is a referral. Plain and simple. Absolutely. You generate sales from doing great work. And that you're doing great work when you get referrals because someone said, I hear I should talk to you about blah, blah, blah. And that to me that's it in a nutshell, right?
Right.
It's all that in a bag of chips. I live for that.
You can quarter people. Good customer service, all that in a bag of chips.
And speaking from someone who works with Andrea on a nutritional level, she won't let you eat the bag of chips. So I don't know what this is.
Oops.
I'm saying.
She's like, okay, called out. Got it. It's not right now. One day.
No, it's always later. So I don't know if you were done, but since I interrupted, when your clients know that you love them, they want to tell their friends about you. And when you over deliver and you take care of them, because being a woman of a certain age today, I remember back in the olden days when customer service was very important. And I think there kind of went a time where, life got so busy, things went digital, and people forgot that we are working with humans. And humans like to be treated as such, a certain way. I like to be treated a certain way. I'm sure you like to be treated a certain way. So I always think of those things that I like, and I try to go over and beyond, because those things are memorable. You may go, whatever, you may go to a restaurant and they may have the most fabulous food, but their service is mediocre. And then you go to another restaurant and their food is all right, but their service is outstanding. You're going to want to go where you feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. It's just what we like to do. So no matter what it is, customer service is always going to be big.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. The testament to great customer service is a customer recommendation, right? And when you said you're working with humans, so one of the things that my mom, it was like one of the some kids are raised where their mom tells them to eat their peas, or kind of tells them, always be prepared, or whatever it is. But one of the things that in my house that was important somehow as a part of our rearing was understanding that customer service is key, no matter what you do, right? Like, it doesn't matter what field you go into when you get older. It doesn't matter what job you have. The customer is, customer service and customer excellence is everything. And that was somehow ingrained in us as children, which is odd sometimes, but then it makes sense why I became an entrepreneur, right? But my mom worked for Nordstrom's when I was growing up, and she was a manager at Nordstrom's. And one of the things that I remembered, one of these documents that she had brought home, it was this, the manual of, after some meeting that they were having, and there was this management model, and it was an inverted triangle, and it said that the customer is the boss, right? And then the employee, and then the floor managers, and then the department managers, and then the CEOs, and they were at the very bottom. And that was their model of how they saw where the power lied. So if you look at Nordstrom's, whether you love it or not, or if that's, I'm a bargain girl, so I very rarely go into Nordstrom's. I'm always looking for a deal. But if you go into Nordstrom's, their culture, the way that they treat people, how they kind of really are, take returns, even if they're like crazy, right? Like, it's like the customer is always right. It really, really comes through. And this company has been around for, I don't even know how many years now, right? So definitely, well, I'm not so young either, but not, I'm not the senior person on here. I'm the baby on here. But Nordstrom's was like the gold standard when I was growing up as a kid, and they still stay in that space. So as we're kind of thinking about our own small businesses, I think it's so important to realize that is exactly how you stand out and create longevity in your business, by having a reputation for being a great place where you can get good customer service. Wouldn't you agree, ladies? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
and to your point, Nordstrom is kind of the gold standard, as you mentioned. Really, the customer is always right, even if it's painful. And it sounds like they made it a point of saying it's instructive. If the customer's not happy, you need the curiosity of how come that happened. Not why, but how come it happened that the customer wasn't happy, which I think is always important.
So as we're helping people maximize their business, the other question that I have for you all is, if it will ever come up. Oh, no, it's later. Right now, we're going to talk about one of my favorite people, Peggy Warny. It's her born day, and she is a fabulous mother and just an awesome friend. And we want to spend some time loving on you a little bit, Peggy.
Oh my gosh, I did not. Oh, look at you guys. Thank you. This is very,
Yay! Happy birthday!
Yay.
Happy born day!
Thank you.
birthday. That's my surprise. That's our surprise to her. So we love you. And this is usually when we would have an entrepreneur's journey, and we've heard your entrepreneur's journey. But we actually wanted to just celebrate the women that you have become in these however many years you want to tell the world that you've been on Earth.
This is a big one. I'm happy to say I am 1/2 of a century old today. I think it's super awesome. I'm totally loving that. My golden birthday. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And look,
birthday.
My friend from San Diego said this to me, and she said it's a circle for every decade that I've lived.
Happy birthday. Welcome to the club. Yes, Monica's the baby here for anyone listening.
Monica's the baby, and that's okay. We'll still let you hang out with us. Cool people.
All of my favorite people are over 50. So I always feel like I want to be in the club, but I'll never get.
You're coming. It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah. But all of my favorite people are over 50. So.
Yay. I'm finding one of your favorite people.
We're in the club. Okay, good. Excellent.
Yeah, but we wanted to just take some time and love on you and to thank you for me personally. I just want to thank you for being such an amazing friend and such a giving person. And what everyone may not get is that Peggy is literally what you see is what you get. Literally. You absolutely know exactly where she stands at any given time. Like, good or bad, you know exactly where she stands. And that is something that is admirable, because there are so many people who are walking around and you encounter in your relationships, and they may not necessarily be full frontal truthful with you. They may be trying to be polite, but I always say the politest thing you can do is to be honest. And so for that reason, you are a true lady and so polite and always being there with the honesty. And it always comes with love and like concern and like just this open heart, and the generosity that you have is just really beautiful to me. And I love that you're our bubble family, and that we get to spend time with you in this pandemic. And I've enjoyed that, actually being out. We've always kind of, as you saw pictures of us partying, right? So we've always met out. And so this bubble has kind of given us an opportunity to kind of get together and I feel like it deepened our relationship. And so I just wanted to love on you for just a few minutes before we talk more businessy stuff. Just say happy birthday. And you are loved beyond measure. And that is not only for me, but from Carrie and little Monica as well. We love you to pieces, and we are so happy for you.
Thank you. I did not expect you to even acknowledge this. And I was like, I hope she doesn't even know it's my birthday. So
we talked about it yesterday. We're like, so what's going on? What are we going to do? Can't have a party. So we're having
Thank you. This means a lot. This was really sweet. You guys are awesome, and I love you. And I'm glad I got to share my birthday with you.
Yay. Well, would have been the only better thing would be if I were in those pictures. Look at me like, I'm in the pictures.
We haven't met person to person yet. We've been quarantine friends. We've known each other since the pandemic, so we haven't met in flesh yet. But we will.
It's coming. Andrea, did you want to say anything?
Well, I can only, my quarantine buddy, Peggy, has been like, we say back east, a buku buddy for MinkLife, and then by extension, me too. Just a wealth of information, always contributing something affirming and positive for the growth of the collective, which is a rare thing and really appreciated. And so it's my honor to know you and to work with you. And I can't wait to get some.
Yes, we're gonna do headshots and videos, and we got plans.
Some pictures where I'm like knowing what my angles are.
I know. Isn't the best at that? Like, so those of you who are watching, right before this, we take a group shot, and Peggy would be like, "Yeah, so blah 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 blah." on.
We did it.
And we're like, how does she do
Always
that?
know where the camera is.
I'm like, I want the sixth sense. So no, it's great to see because it's just like imperceptible, and then it's like the picture sets up. So as someone who is, never been, I've been a little camera shy. I'm really excited to work with you, but I've seen your work and I love the little tweaks you do me. But I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember that, and it's been great. So I can't wait for our VR to turn into IRL, not VR.
Right.
The VRL
Exactly.
is awesome. I can't wait for the IRL. So
Exactly. Exactly. So that's our little moment of doting on you. I hope you
Well,
liked
thank
it.
you. That was very kind and sweet, and I love it. I loved it. Thank you.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
see, I got birthday flowers.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Mary
right.
got
Oh,
me
back there.
flowers. Yes.
Why did
Like,
she look? She was like, where?
where? Oh, they look great. I love how your camera. Anyway, you guys, I'm always joning on like the technical aspect of how she shows up on these things because she has perspective, and it's awesome. So
Yeah.
it's like,
All right. Well, that was our little
that was our social moment.
slide of something that wasn't necessarily on point with what we were supposed to be talking about today. But from here on out, you are the birthday queen, so you get to choose when you want to go. So tap someone else's from the rest of the show, because
Let's go
that's
first.
really all we got in this space, right?
I
Is for
know.
you to say, okay, well, you're the queen. You tell us who goes next, and we're going to dive into our next conversation. We're so happy again to celebrate your birthday with you today, and for you to not be just blow us off and say, you know what, I'm just going to celebrate apart, but to be with us. So let's keep networking. And the quote of the week is, the world would be a better place if everyone put their all into serving others. And we want to talk about this from the three perspectives that we talk about in the MinkLife Motivation training system, where we talk about ability, expertise, and professionalism being the key focuses when you are really trying to have great customer service. Ladies, the question I have for you is, share some tips on how people can maximize profits through customer service. And so, Peggy, who gets to go first?
I'll go first. I don't mind.
There you go.
I'll let Andre come in with the home run.
Oh God.
So I repeat the question now. I'm just all fluttery with birthday wishes.
Aww.
Share a tip to maximize your profits through customer service.
Okay, so as always, I try to come at this at a different angle than I assume everybody else is going to come at it. So I, like Monica, grew up in a house where customer service was talked about. My parents were self-employed, so there was always discussions of, and my dad was very adamant about, he worked for the customer and the customer was always right. And I remember more than once this conversation at dinner, my mom being very upset and my dad saying, nah, this, and he, whatever he told, like if he quoted a price and then he got into it and it actually entailed more things, he would always stick to the price he quoted. And he said, well, that's on me. I should have done more research before I quoted the price. I should have asked better questions before I quoted the price. And I always remember growing up thinking that no matter what, like he would eat that, like that, because he didn't want to ever be accused of, bait and switch or, hey, I gave them this amount of this price. They budgeted this. I'm not going to go screw up. Maybe they need, something for their kids. You don't know where they're at. And so that always stuck with me. And I feel like the reason that putting your customers first above, even if you have to, swallow a little bit of a profit loss in the short term, that's always going to pay off because they're going to remember that. They're going to come back. And I also remember, people talking about my dad's business and talking about my dad and giving, help and, gifts and different things. So I'm always ran my business that way. Like if if I say it, this is what's happening. Even if I said something crazy and wasn't thinking, it's like once it's because I want people to have that trust, and trust is a lot to do with customer service, because when you build that trust, then they feel safe and they feel cared for, and they're going to want to come back. And in the long run, it's, always, always, always going to benefit you. All right, come in for the home run.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I can. I'm just gonna punt a little fluff. The I can't agree with you more. I mean, I'm really sensitive about that too. For instance, or um, the over deliver, under promise concept, because it's, for me, a long term relationship is way more important. That keeps replenishing itself either by repeat business and, of course, the customer recommendation to a referral. It means the world to me. So, me working hard and exercising my ability, even if it results in a cost to me, is way better down the road, because, like you said, you just do better next time, quote a better price. But at the same time, like you said, that trust factor, the know, like, and trust factor, know, like, love, trust factor. I wanted three, but it's really know, like, whatever. That is really important for the customer referral that keeps you in business long term. Like, Peggy, you've been a photographer for 30 years, and it's probably in large part, it wasn't like flashy budgets. It was just good old honest, I think this woman's going to be great, or being known for your expertise in this field. Like you said a couple weeks ago, I'm known for multiples and big family gatherings, and I can shoot anything like that. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that about you, but I could see where you'd be great at that, And so there's your expertise, and the people around and they go, oh, I've got triplets. She's the one, or whatever. So that, to me, I think Monica and I were brainstorming over the weekend and really trying to even hone on that in the conversation we were talking about. It's like expertise is the thing you want to be known for. So you get to make yourself better and then share this wonderful thing with your constituents and your clients. So all of those things maximize profits, and ultimately, again, it maximizes you because you're doing what you love. I think the quote before where you said if everyone just leaned into the thing about always servicing each other from their place of contribution, yes, what a wonderful place it would be. It wouldn't be a world of lack, it would be a world of abundance. And so I think that those are the ways to maximize profits. Be excellent, as Tommy said. Be the best in
Be the
what you're
best.
doing. Be the best.
I absolutely. So imagine though, like imagine, right? Like
I get
everyone,
goosebumps when I imagine it, actually.
like you walk out of your house and the person who is doing the garden is really kind of taking extra care of making sure your garden is taken care of. You get in your car and you pull up to the gas station, and that person who's behind the cash register is like, how are you doing today? How can I help you? Is everything going good? Okay, do you need anything? And then you get to your job, and everybody from the person who opens the door to maybe the receptionist or the HR manager or that your team or everybody is showing up as their best.
Janitorial service.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be the most amazing world to live in? I kind of like fantasize about that every now and then. About like, I would imagine we would all let people cut in front of us in traffic if we did more of this, right? There would be a little less aggression.
I let them
beyond.
go. I let them go. It's
You're
not
like,
a
no.
rush for me. I let them
Like,
go. It's like, you go ahead.
right. But like, like the amount of stress that would be relieved from people, right? And the amount of pleasure that people would have when they're doing the things that they have to do. If you are going to pay a bill and it's the most amazing experience that you've ever had, imagine, right? I'm giving you my money and that was great. Like that just seems as though that would be the world that we would all want to live in. And I say all of that to say, when you are looking at your own business and you are looking at it from a point of, okay, I am one of those many touch points that someone has in their day, right? One of many touch points. And any one of those touch points could have been a really crappy experience. If I can spend my time with this person and they have the most amazing, most delightful interaction, then I will at least make their day a little better. And in the long run, they will say those things like, I had the most amazing experience paying that bill today, right? Or I had the most amazing experience when I got my headshots, or I had the most amazing experience in my class, right? My wellness class, when I was learning about myself, right? The opportunity that you have to create this space for someone in your world is huge. So, in the program, we talk about it from the 3 focuses, which is ability, expertise, and professionalism. And professionalism was something my mom did not let us. That was like one of the that was like one of the code of ethics in our house. We had to show up professional, even as children, which was a really odd thing to do. But my mom was like, "Hey, you're going to have to get a job someday. You need to know how to answer the phone properly. You need to be able to be on your P's and Q's, right? You need to be able to understand how not to offend people, right, on accident." And so that was really important. And so when I went into the professional world, it wasn't hard for me to turn on the professional Monica, because that was something that was like, kind of taught to us at home. If that wasn't your experience of being taught that at home, which I get it, I think my childhood was a bit odd. It's something that you want to really consider. And especially now I'm going global. So words that I don't think are offensive are absolutely offensive in certain places. So really just being kind of cognizant of professionalism and what the professional standards are for the communities that you're serving is really going to be useful. Being the expert, a lot of people want to say, "Oh, I did something, so and I'm pretty good." And some of my friends said I'm pretty good at it, so I should just make that a business, right? And if that's how you got into your business, that's a great starting point, right? That's a great starting point, that you have to actually become the expert in what you do. You have to know your product line better than anybody else. You have to be able to tell people the ins and outs of how this works and how that works and why it works for them, and why it's this color and why it's not the other color. And because in the reality is, when you're working with your clients, they're going to ask you questions that you are going to need to know the answer for. And if you're stumped, be really kind of prepared to say, "You know what, I'm not sure about that, but I will research that and get back to you," right? But just kind of showing up as an expert or a person who's willing to learn the questions that are missing. And then the last piece is the ability to actually give them what they paid for. Right? I mean, it seems so simple, and yet I can't get good internet reception, right? And yet still I can't get what I'm paying for. And so it's really important that you are able to provide what you are saying you are going to provide, and provide it at the highest possible level that you can give it for the price point that you have set for yourself. Because without those 3 things working together, you kind of are just forgettable. And who wants to be forgettable in their business, right? So that's my soapbox. How did I do? Did I hit it home?
You hit it home.
You went all the way. You went all the way. But absolutely, I think it's funny that you should say it was in your house, but I really remember the conversations about how to answer the phone with my family, and in particular my grandmother and my mother, or how you do one thing is how you do everything. I mean, I heard that for I can't even. It's like comes out of my mouth. My kid's like, "I know you say that all the time." It's like, because guess what? One day when you need to be digging deep, and if you haven't done it here in my house, how can I be confident that you're going to do that out in the world? So do it here first, and then I won't say anything because I'm going to know you're going to do it. So
Yeah.
child rearing, any of those things, really having that level of high expectation in a positive way is, I think, key to life. Having a good life and exercising those things and having people, of course, clamoring for more. But I love how you started, Monica, where you said, you know, um, the quote this week. I didn't realize you were going to use that call out in that quote, but I just love it because showing up and going, I'm going to do the best I can with all I have, and then always being candid. Like, if you don't know exactly, like, you know what, but I'm going to make sure you won't stump this chump next time. Like, absolutely not. And people love that. People love that transparency. I learned that early and often too. It's like, you've all been in jobs, maybe not you, Peggy, but had a job where something went wrong and you watch everyone deflect. And I always chose to go, yep, I did that wrong. I didn't understand this, this, and this, but I now understand. And everyone would go, you didn't get in trouble. I said, because I owned it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, and it didn't work out. And fortunately, it wasn't a total disaster, whatever it was, And so that was, I remember when my mom, and it had to do with as a little kid, like telling the truth always, no matter what. And her insistence that if I know you're always telling me the truth, I'll always have your back, kind of thing. And so that's another reason people go, oh, she always tells the truth, even if it looks bad on her. And so that is professionalism and integrity sort of wrapped up in that. So that
Absolutely.
really, those are key for everything.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
actually brings us to our next question perfectly, teed that up perfectly, which is, how do you recover from a poor customer experience? You did your best, and yet it fell a little short. How do you recover from that? And I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit about just kind of owning it. But Peggy, since you're the queen of the day, would you like to have her elaborate or take on the topic?
I will take this on. And I will tell a really terrible thing that I did. I'm going to tell a story of terrible customer service that happened to me. And this was years ago. I'm going to say 15, 16 years ago. I was, I used to do a lot of weddings and events. I was doing a wedding, and emails were kind of a new thing. I mean, we've been using emails for a while, but they were still relatively new. And this bride was a bridezilla, and the 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 event planner that I was working with, her email was very close to the bride's email. The party planner, and I really am normally very careful about not saying things about people. Like I always feel like words are important, but this party planner was emailing me and just talking trash about our client. And this person was pretty brutal. And so I had replied to the party planner about how I agreed with her. And guess what? I sent it to my client.
Oh,
Yeah. And she wrote a terrible review. I mean, it was horrible. It was, and I was embarrassed because that's something that I'd spent my whole life building, this, business of integrity, and that I have these high standards for myself and my business, and my customers are always, and I felt like I literally flushed what 10, 15 years of business that I'd worked for integrity down the toilet with one email, and but what I did, because what are you gonna say? It was damn obvious. I sent the email. I couldn't say, oh, that wasn't me. It was me. And I profusely apologized. Of course, she got a lot of free things, and and that review, haunted me for years, because, it stayed there. She did not take that review down, which, what, she had every right not to. Thankfully, over the years, I had more and more good reviews, and that kind of like got shuffled down to the bottom. But it made me take responsibility for my own actions, and it made me, no matter what, stick to my morals and my high ground, and never ever do that in a text, in a phone call, in person, like, blah 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 somebody. I'm like, yeah, they're under a lot of stress, and walk away from it, because I know how horrible I felt. And I mean, this was this woman's wedding. And I mean, this is something that she'll always remember now. When she looks at her pictures, she's going to remember that that, photographer said I was a horrible person, and that's something that, I tainted the entire experience. And I, felt, felt terrible. And so, I think that I was raised the same way. Always tell the truth, own it, don't, my parents were always, if you do something, we better hear about it from you, not from someone else. And, and so I think taking responsibility and realizing that, everybody screws up. And I was brutally hard on myself, which these two know me enough to know that that's kind of a thing. I get very hard on myself. But of course I was just terribly hard on myself over this situation. But looking back on it, it was like, well, I was human and I screwed up. That's kind of what humans do. And you make up for it and you grow from the experience. I think that's the most important thing, is that when you fall short of your customer service, you apologize and grow from it and learn.
Yeah, I always say, there's nothing you can do to change the past, but every day you can make reparations for your mistakes of the past, right? So every action I do today can repair my integrity, repair my reputation for what I did in my past. And that's exactly it, right? When you were talking about that one bad review, and you're like, I just worked really hard to get a bunch of good reviews, and that one kind of got squelched. I think it's kind of that concept of, um, I'm never going to make that mistake twice, and I'm going to spend every single person after this gets the benefit of that mistake of her, so that one mistake was not in vain. So I really love that story. Thank you for sharing that. That was excruciating to listen to. Like,
It was hard to listen to, for sure.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh, out. It's like the classic, it's like a sitcom that happened, unfolded, but with
But it
dire,
wasn't funny. A sitcom's funny.
dire, dire consequence. Well, there's
Yeah,
always
I
the
know, I
horror
know.
in a sitcom that's really like reality imitating life or
Right.
something. So,
yeah,
um,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, the question that was a lot. I took that in. I was like, ooh, I feel it in my body, like that whole like living through that and working, how long it took to recover from and everything like that. And so, poor experiences. How was the question phrased one more time? Because I just was so like in the story, like, ouch.
how do you recover from a poor customer service experience?
Well, I think Peggy's story illustrates a brilliant recovery. It was like never ever. It went on the never ever list, right? So up the professionalism, never ever list, check, probably at the top, right? Um, and you own it, number two, Mike, you own it. You just say, this happened, really apologize. What can I do to make it right for you? Like what you did, right? I mean, your story had all the points. I guess I get to do the summation. Is that right? And then I guess the third part is asking, what would you have liked to have happened? Like, I really sometimes, when things aren't going well or they're unraveling and the learning is in the it not going well. I mean, I think you as the provider get to go, how can I exercise a better solution? And really asking, Monica hates this. I'm always like, are you curious about this? Or I'm curiosity is Monica's. And then I go, are you curious about this? So you ever work with the two of us know that we stay in this place of what we actually kind of want hard clients. We've joked about hard clients coming because they're going to push you, like lean into the growth that comes from the hard client, right? Like the hard
Mm.
client is the growth opportunity. Yes, sometimes your stomach might be like turning. You're like, oh, are they going to like me this week? I've got bad news for them, or we're working through things. I mean, with me, like when I'm working with someone who's really trying to unwrap something that's difficult, and nothing is linear in health, really. Like you don't I know commercials make you think that, but it's really not. You are going to have your unique responses to things and then just being able to roll the punches. And you as the provider being patient that it didn't go like you planned. That's how I look at it. It's like, oh well, okay, back to the drawing board, right? Like I get to find another solution so that the next customer, like Peggy said, is going to benefit from that first time. So there's always a growth opportunity. So are you
Yeah.
curious?
I am. So there are a couple of comments that I say all the time, and people are like, why would you ask for that? One is, are there any questions, comments, or rude remarks? And I say that because I actually do want people to feel comfortable enough to say whatever it is they have to say, because that's where my growth is. Success is fun, right? When people love you, that's great, but the growth comes when people don't love you. The growth comes when people are like, this is okay, or I don't know that I would buy this again, or I don't think I would refer anybody to do this. It's not useful, or it would be better if you would have did this, right? That is actually where the growth comes. So I would say, if I'm sharing a specific tip on how you can kind of overcome that, is really just lean into, the other thing I will say is this going to be the person who breaks it, right? Who breaks the system,
I was
who,
going to say, when are you going to say that? Because I left that for you to say.
like, okay, somebody, I'm always looking for the person who's going to break the system, who's going to take my program and get nothing from it, right? Like, be like, this was a whole waste of time. That is exactly the person I want to meet. I want to know that person. I want to know, why was this a waste of your time? How can it have been better for you? What could we have done differently for you to be able to get the results that we had promised you would have gotten? And really kind of leaned into that, because how I was able to create a scalable product was just that. When someone's like, I don't really like this part. Well, why? Why don't you? What about that isn't comfortable? What could have made it better for you? Like Andrea was saying, if I did this, would have helped? Or maybe that, right? And always just asking for that feedback of like how you can make it better, and then kind of embodying that change in the next thing. That's how your growth happens. And it happens way faster when you're in that space than if you're like, everything's good, and then someone's like, nah, it's not good. You don't know what you're talking about. You're the exception to the rule. Everybody else likes it. That's exactly how you stay stagnant. That's exactly how you lose return customers. That's exactly how you lose momentum, or you look around 10 years later and you're like, I don't know why I was successful at one point, but it's because of that evolving curiosity of like, how can this be better every single time? And what was it that everybody's complaint is valid to listen to, not necessarily to change for every single person, right? But to at least listen, consider, and decide whether or not it's something that you need to really do something about, or maybe we have a conversation all the time where like, well, maybe if we would have framed it a different way, right? If I would have explained it and managed the expectations in a different way, they would have got what I was expecting from them. So all comments give you a data point in which you can actually improve your customer service. It's just a matter of actually being 100% open to hearing bad things about you. Because had Peggy not heard had that review, she might have done really well, right? But she might have fallen into some traps, or didn't look at certain parts of her business, or the way that she communicated, that would make it so much better, right? And so it really is important to kind of embrace the icky bad comments, right? Embrace the negative reviews, and spend your time living in them, like, okay, how can we not make this happen ever again, like Peggy did? So that is my 2 cents. How did I do, the queen of the day?
Oh, beautifully, beautifully, beautifully. Yes. And I like that, because I feel the same way. I like that, let it, find out what people don't like. A lot of times we want to surround ourselves with all the positive because it makes us feel good. And when somebody doesn't like something that we're doing, then it's like we take it as we are lacking, but we should take it as somebody's handing us a step stool that we can step up even higher and, even better. And that's really a good thing to remember, that now clearly there are just going to be trolls and people that just want to, that are miserable, and they just want to make everybody else's life miserable. But there are people that are like, yeah, this wasn't effective for me. Okay, well, why? And you may not change immediately, but if you hear that kind of same in something in that same column always coming up, you're like, oh, maybe I should look deeper into that. So that was very good. I approve your message.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you.
Anointed.
Well, as usual, if you are interested, sorry about that, if you are interested in having your questions answered on our show with us and the experts who sit in with us, feel free to come to MinkLife Motivation /live and give us a comment. Let us know what it is that you are looking to hear about on the show, and we will do our best to answer those questions for you, or we will find an expert who can. And with that, we are at the end of the show. It is time for announcements. And my slide always comes up prematurely. So, birthday girl, what is happening in your world? How can people connect to you? How can they show up and support what you are doing out here in these streets?
Well, first of all, find me on Clubhouse. This is a new networking app that I'm starting to get pretty involved in. If you haven't figured it out yet, do a little research, get yourself an invitation, and come join us on Clubhouse. Tons of great networking, tons of great ways to meet people. So that's a really fun place to come hang out with me now. The other thing is, like I've announced before, I am starting to do promos and commercials for businesses, and I am just finished my first client and super excited. Of course, I've done a few little things for myself and other, people to kind of get in. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm doing consultations for people that need to know how to get effective headshots. What does an effective headshot mean? If you are not in the LA area, Southern California area, and you're like, hey, I want an effective headshot, but I'm actually doing consultations so that you can take this knowledge to your photographer and work together with your photographer and get effective headshots that get you noticed.
Perfection. And Andrea, what about you? What's going on in your world, girl?
Ooh, well, my next group of cleanse students is the class is launching on February the 18th. So all this week through my Calendly link, I hope that's in the text for this post, is an invitation to come check out how I do it, get to know me, and make sure you're like, I don't know, she's a quack, I can't handle, or yeah, I love that woman, I want to come and I want to detox and rejuvenate with me. I'd love that. But I'm also, and you don't have this and I need to add it, is tomorrow I'm having a very, very special kinesiologist, physical trainer person, a chit chat with me. He's one of my woo-woo friends, if you're afraid of woo-woo, but he's really based in science, he's got a PhD in it. All about breathing and breath. And as a former singer, I learned how to breathe better. And I was a wind player and a singer. So I was like, oh, I got breathing all the way down. Boy, did I learn a few things and really invigorate myself with my own ability to breathe well. So that's tomorrow at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Everybody's welcome. It's going to be broadcast via Facebook Live through Zoom. But if you want to ask questions, I'm going to be able to get them if you're in the meeting with me, so you can register for that too, and I'll include that or add that in the comments after we are live. So I'm really excited that my masterclass series is starting with Dr. David Rubenstein. He's very, very, very fun. He's a great guy. I'm being very facetious, but it's going to be a great chit chat to get energy from oxygen, and just like water, we need oxygen. So he really makes a good case for that. So come and hang out with us. They might be here, and you might even see them on the line with us in a moderator capacity.
I've already got put it on my calendar, so okay. I will be there for sure. So as you can see, we are busy in this crew. So what's on my plate? Well, it's Embody Change to Thrive. It is time. We are celebrating the anniversary of the next Global Virtual Conference Series with this new iteration of it, which is going to be not in one city, but in two cities. So we're going to be in Los Angeles time zones at April 24th and 25th, and in Sydney time zones in May 6th and 7th. It's, as usual, 2 days, 6 sessions, 24 topics, 2 action planners, Lots of fun networking. It's really amazing. And we are looking for speakers. So if you are an expert in personal, business, personal or business coaching, if you are a brand specialist, we need to talk to you. Also, this Thursday, we have our Power Partner Mixer where you can meet, share, and learn with us as we connect. It was such a good time last time, guys. 6 a.m. This week, it is 6 p.m. So those of you who are on the West Coast or in, I believe, Australia, this one is designed for you.
A little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, those that particular part of the world, this one is definitely designed for you. So come and hang out with us. You will meet all of the people, random people I hang out with or that I have collected over my virtual networking excursions. And you will be introduced, be able to introduce yourself and give a commercial about your business. We are always about connecting, ABCs, always be connecting. And so this is exactly the time that you should do that. And last but not least, the topic that we had today came out of our Business Maximizer, customer service. And in the Business Maximizer, we help you create habits that support your personal and business growth. We help you build stronger, authentic, mutual beneficial relationships, both in life and in business. We help you create a strategy that supports your life and business optimization. We help you create a balanced and organized time management system. And we help you align your actions to your vision so that you can maximize your resources. And then we connect you to exactly the person who needs to help you get over the finish line and get your goals met. So this is a community that you want to be a part of. And it starts right here with the Business Maximizer. But guess what? You can try it for free. Now, how many programs let you try it for free? And it's not the baby version of it. It is the real class, right? So we're not holding anything back. We are helping you get your life with the Life Calibrator. We're helping you get your business with the Business Maximizer, building that brand with the Brand Builder, and also boosting your influence. So when you get on Clubhouse, you know exactly what to do. So you can take a look at our free courses on minklifemotivation.com/complimentary. And we will hook you up with some free classes happening right now. And last but not least, I would like to thank everybody who's a part of this, and a happy birthday to Peggy, because it's your birthday. Get busy. It's your birthday. Oh, yeah. Thank you to Alana Jackler, who is always behind the scenes making us look fabulous like Beyonce with the great band blowing the fan in our faces. But remember that you have the power to activate the vision within. And with that, we bid you adieu. But before we do so, don't forget, hit the share button, because sharing is caring. And with that, we love you. It's been fun, but we gotta go. We about to take off. We gonna get out of here. So see you next Monday.
Happy birthday, Peggy. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. We'll see you next Monday.